Hello students, this is Monica, PGT in Computer Science from CGK Jain High Secondary School. And today I am going to explain for 12th Standard Computer Science Chapter 2 Data Abstraction. Before going to the topic data abstraction, first students, you have to understand what is abstraction is all about. Abstraction is the process that will provide you the essentials and hiding you the informations. To be more precise, if some operations are performed in your programs or functions, for example, it will tell you what are the operations are to be performed, but it will not explain or it will not tell you like how these operations get implemented. And to facilitate this data abstraction, you have to create two types of functions in your program. One is constructor, another one is selector. Constructors are nothing but functions that will build your abstract data type. Selectors are also functions that you are going to create that will retrieve the information from the data type. And here is an example. Constructor will have x and y as the coordinates that will be passing over to the function make point, return x and y. What are the parameters you passed over here in the make point? You will return here x and y. You will create the abstract data type by using a constructor over here. You will not get any informations in the constructor, but in the selector you will retrieve the information from the object what you are selected. For example, here x coordinate point, and that x coordinate point will be returned with the value 0, and 0 tends to the position value. And selector y coordinate point, and that y coordinate point will be returned with the position value point of 1. And this will be your example for constructor and selector. And this is an example for abstract data type that is for rational numbers. Here the first line will be your constructor, and that constructor will construct a rational number with the numerator n and denominator d. So you are mentioning the numerator as n here and denominator as d here. And rational function will have two parameters n and d as you mentioned in the constructor. And selector will return the numerator of x will be the explanation like this, returns numerator of the rational number. So selector will give the information about your numerator of x and denominator of y. So you will create a constructor by using two parameters n and d by using the keyword numerator denominator inside the rational function. But in the selector you will passing over n and d with the variable numerator of x and denominator of y, and that returns your rational numbers numerator, rational numbers denominator. And next topic will be list and tuples, and you have to concentrate on these two topics since it's important to write any programs in your language Python. List will be constructed by placing an expression inside the square bracket separated by the commas. For example, I gave you here the two methods how to write a list. In the first method, first is equal to square bracket of 10, 20. So two elements 10 and 20 are passing over in the list and will be assigned to the name first. And first of 0 will be your 10 and first of 1 will be your 20. So 10 will be in the 10 is in the 0th position and 20 is in the first position. So you can write it as first of 0 and first of 1. From these examples, you can correlate with the mathematical term. List can be explained with similar to the sets in maths. Like you can write sets with the brackets, right? Same way, the first of 0, 10, 1, 20. 0 will be the index position and 10 will be your value. Same way, 1 here will be your index position and 20 will be your value. So you can define the list similar to sets in mathematics. And here is an example given rational number using list. I am here defining two parameters n and d inside a function rational, and that will be returned as a list here, same parameter n and d. So numerator of x will be denoted to the first parameter what you passed is n. So x of 0 will be the 0th position parameter, that will be your n, that will be your numerator, and here denominator of x will be x of 1. So first position, that is 0th position will be the first element and first position will be your second element. So x of 1 will be passing over to here your second element, that is first position d, and that will be your denominator of x. So whatever you are passing here with the position value, that positional value variable will be assigned to the parameters whatever you are passing inside the list. So n will be given as the numerator of x and d will be denoted or assigned to the denominator of x. So that will be assigned here with the positional values 0 and 1. So 0th position is n and first position is d. So numerator and denominator. And next topic will be your tuple. Tuple is also similar to your list, but you have only one difference is that you will have to use parenthesis in the tuple, but here we will use square brackets in the list. And you will have a difference, you cannot change the elements whatever you assigned inside the tuple, but you can change the elements inside the list in the runtime also. So we will have only one major difference is that I told you, you cannot even change whatever elements you defined inside the tuple will not be changed at any cost, but the elements in the list can be changed in the runtime also. By this topic your second chapter is going to end, and that topic is your data abstractions in structures. I told you already about list. List will be changed in its element, like if you give 4 elements or 5 elements inside the list, we can change at any time, but tuples cannot be changed. And list will not allow you to give the name for each and every part in the multi-item object. For example, if I have an object called as person, and if I have to give you variables like first name, last name, email ID, the list will not allow me to give the name for each and every part in the object. For this case, we are switching to the structures. And in your textbook, they gave you one example, like for instance, if you play a game in a mastermind, if you have to keep track of your 4 colors, what are the colors that user need to choose? By choosing the list, without for giving me the instance, I can choose 1, 2, 3, 4 inside a list, or I can predict, like I can give a single variable name by combining all my 4 colors into that name called predict or mastermind, whatever name I can keep. So without passing each and every variable separately as a colors, I can combinely join all the 4 colors, what are the user guesses, and I will assign all the 4 colors into a single variable, and I will assign all that colors to a variable. So that instance we can use list. But I told you as an example, for person, if I am going to pass person's detail like first name, last name and all, I cannot use list. Since because the list will not allow me to name different names for each and every part of your multi-item object. So for that instance, we are using here as a structure, and that structure will allow me to give name for my each part. And here is an example for data abstractions in structure. The person will be the class name, and that class name will represent the multi-object representation. For example, I have to create one object in the class by using the class name. For example, if I am creating P1 as an object here by using the class name person P1. So P1 will be thanks to my object, and that object is used to access all my variables functions in the structure. And creation will be the function belongs to the data type. Whatever you are defining, that function will belongs to the data type. And here the first name, last name, ID, email all belongs to the person's detail will be called as the variable, or it also be called as a fields, and that will be belongs to the new data type. And this is what we call it as structure. If I am going to pass a person's details in a list, so I cannot give the first name equal to, last name equal to, ID is equal to. So for that instance, I am creating here an structure that will name each and every part of my multi-item object, and that will be named as a variable or as a field, and that can be accessed by using any function what you created in the structure. And this is what we call it as data abstraction in structure. And by this topic, your second chapter data abstraction completed. And I told you what is abstraction means, and what is data abstraction is all about, and I explained you what are lists and what are tuples, and I gave you difference also between list and tuple. And finally I concluded my chapter with the last topic, data abstractions in structure. Hope you understand the class today. Thank you, students.